Syrian Arab Army units eliminate dozens of terrorists in Daraa, al-Qunaitira and Homs and foil a terrorist attack on ancient Aleppo. Washington stresses openly its support for terrorists in Syria after the pretext of the so-called moderate opposition. The Iraqi Army is preparing to wage a decisive assault on Tikrit in order to liberate it of ISIL terrorists. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our news for today. The Syrian Arab Army has dealt severe blows to terrorists' bulwarks in Daraa and al-Qunaitira suburbs within the framework of its operations to combat terrorism and cut off the lines of supplies of the Takfir organizations linked to the Zionist occupation entity. Several armed men have also been killed or wounded in an army operation against their hideouts in Noticias village near the Jordanian borders. Hideouts belonging to Jabhat al-Nusra have moreover been destroyed in al-Lujat in Daraa, northern countryside. Other armed men have also been killed in the eastern suburb of al-Qunaitira governorate, as 12 terrorist leaders were reportedly killed in Qunda village in al-Qunaitira southern countryside. In Homs eastern countryside, Syrian Arab Army units intensified strikes on the hideouts of terrorists, inflicting heavy losses upon them. An official military source said Syrian Arab Army units killed a large number of terrorists in 2 villages east of Homs. The source declared that heavy attacks on terrorists killed many of them in al-Furuqlus countryside and 3 nearby towns. The Syrian Arab Army has also targeted and killed a number of terrorists in the village of Rahum, which is considered the gateway for terrorists infiltrating from al-Raqqa governorate towards Homs eastern countryside. In Aleppo, Syrian Arab Army units repelled an attack by terrorists on Abd al-Hamid al-Zahrawi school in Old Aleppo. A military source said clashes took place in the vicinity of the school, leaving many terrorists killed or injured. A suicide bomber has detonated a booby-trapped car near Hannoura Dam barricade east of al-Furuqlus, 75 kilometers on Palmyra-Homs highway. A source in the governorate of Homs said the blast killed 4 people and injured 15 others, some of them seriously. The source added that the car used by the terrorists was a van loaded with more than 1.5 tons of explosives. The USA, the main patron of terrorism in the world, has reiterated support for the Takfiri organizations which it calls moderate opposition. This has been voiced by the US Chief of Staff General Martin Dempsey, who urged more support for the terrorists in Syria. Dempsey openly called for providing a military air cover for them and sending special American troops to support them on the ground. Addressing the External Relations Committee at the American House of Senate, Dempsey said, "We have a moral obligation to support and protect the armed men despite his knowledge that they are classified on the UN lists as terrorist organizations." American Defense Secretary Ashton Carter on his part backed Dempsey's proposals, affirming that Washington is considering ways of support for the armed men, particularly the dispatch of 1,200 American soldiers to train them in camps in Turkey and Jordan. Welcome back. The Iraqi Army continues its military operations to liberate Salah ad-Din governorate of ISIL terrorist organization after recovering wide areas in Tikrit city. Iraqi Defense Minister Khalid al-Ubaidi said the army will storm Tikrit in the upcoming hours and the battle will be decisive. The army has, on the other hand, detonated a booby-trapped car driven by a suicide bomber. It was trying to target military troops in the industrial quarter in the center of Tikrit. The army has moreover eliminated scores of terrorists and destroyed their equipment during combing operations of 12 villages between Salah ad-Din and Kirkuk. The army also cleared 2 villages southwest of Kirkuk after killing scores of ISIL terrorists. In al-Mosul, dozens of ISIL terrorists, including an ISIL leader called Abu Anas al-Ansari, have been killed and their equipment destroyed in Sinjar and Askil Mosul, in Ninawa Plain northwest of the city. Egyptian authorities arrested 7 members of the terrorist Muslim Brotherhood organization in Al-Ghirbiya governorate. Documents and posters calling for sedition and chaos were confiscated. Authorities also detained a number of top wanted gunmen in the same area during wide-scale inspection campaign in the same area. Israeli occupation troops arrested a number of citizens in different parts of the West Bank and broke into a number of villages and towns in Hebron, detaining 3 citizens east of Nablus. Meanwhile, Israeli war boats opened fire at fishermen in Gaza coast, preventing them from earning their daily livelihood. Finally, in the U.S., 2 police officers have been shot in Ferguson, a Missouri town hit by riots over the killing of an unarmed black teenager last year. 1 officer was shot in the face and 1 in the shoulder. Both suffered very serious gunshot injuries. The incident occurred during a demonstration after the resignation of Ferguson's police chief, which followed a report alleging racial bias in his department. With this, we conclude our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Now to latest business and market news with Karun Kürkcan, but after a short break.
Good afternoon. Minister of Tourism Bashar has underlined the importance of activating the social role and the positive contribution of the hotels belonging to the ministry to the tourism market. He also highlighted the need of doubling performance and services to reach tourist satisfaction. Yazigi called for laying out a pricing policy based on a study that matches hotels' specifications and services as well as local purchase potentials and realize balance between profit and customers' satisfaction. The technical study for the first medicines factory to be built in favor of the Pharmacists Union has been started in the governorate of Latakia. The project will cover an area of thousands of square meters in the new industrial region number 9 in the governorate. The cost of the project is estimated to be 400 million Syrian pounds, covering infrastructure, construction works and equipment. According to the set plan, the project starts to produce pills and syrups as the first stage of the launching operation and investment process. The project will also provide 100 job opportunities. In a first step to introduce organic farming and producing organic crops with additional value, the Minister of Agriculture Engineer Ahmed Al-Qadri approved the transformation of 1,600 hectares into organic farming. This step is the first of its kind in terms of introducing organic farming that will include olive crop as a beginning, which will pave the way for applying the POSH approach across the Syrian geography. The Syrian Investment Board implemented 10 projects since the start of 2015 until the end of February, with an investment cost of 4.98 Syrian billion pounds, employing 935 workers. These projects were executed in different cities and governorates, with 2 farm projects in Sweda, 4 industrial projects in Hama, Damascus countryside, Tartus, in addition to 3 transportation projects in Tartus, a center for distributing fuel in Damascus countryside. Brent crude oil rose over $5 today for the second session. This comes as speculation covered their positions just ahead of April contract's expiry. Geopolitical tensions in the Middle East and North Africa were supporting crude futures. U.S. stock prices fell on Wednesday for the second session in a row as investors continued to focus on the path of U.S. monetary policy. Stocks drifted between gains and losses throughout the session, ending near their lows. Gold prices have risen today after 8 consecutive days of losses, in parallel with a retreat in the dollar from its highest in 12 years. Spot gold registered $1,160.40 an ounce after rising 1% at $1,166.30. Pulled out of its recent fall and the dollar eased off the instant pedal today. The pause by the dollar gave some break to emerging markets as well as oil and commodities heavily related to the U.S. currency's strength. Ladies and gentlemen, with this we reach the end of our news. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.